What's going on, guys? Wes Pruitt, 4-Star Sports Media, and you are watching and listening to the Tigers Den, where we talk all things Memphis Tigers right here on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. We will get it underway here shortly. We got a jam-packed show for you tonight. What was originally going to be a all-football show has turned into a multiple sports show. We'll get it going right here shortly, right here on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. What's going on, Memphis fans? Wes Pruitt, 4-Star Sports Media, and you are inside the Tigers Den right now. Appreciate everybody watching and listening over there at the live feed of the podcast on 4-Star Sports Media, Facebook, and YouTube. We're having some issues with Twitter right now. I don't know what's going on with that, but a shout out to everybody watching and listening. If you enjoy the content, be sure to like, subscribe. Right now, 4-Star Sports Media are steadily doing this over the last year. We've continually grown in numerous areas, whether that's here with Memphis coverage and the Tigers Den, or that's Hogs Happy Hour, which will be back next Thursday night. Typically, it would be Hogs Happy Hour tonight. We are live right now on Thursday, July the 18th. We had some scheduling conflicts last night, so we had to push the show to tonight. And Blake and Ashton were taking, this was their last week of their little small break. Next week, I'm sure talking all things Sam Pittman and Arkansas Razorbacks football. Once again, appreciate everybody watching and listening right now over at the 4-Star Sports social medias. All right, let's get into it, guys. It is Tiger trivia time. And let's play that jingle. All right, guys. So, Tiger trivia tonight is a football related question. When Memphis won the 2009 American Athletic Football Conference Championship outright, how long of a drought had it been since the last outright conference title for the Memphis Tigers? We will answer this question at the end of the show. Give you guys, and we'll revisit this when we get down to the football portion too. Um, But yeah, that's Tiger trivia for tonight. When Memphis football won the 2019 AAC American Athletic Conference Football Championship, how long had the drought been since their last outright conference championship? That's the question. Let me hit the jingle one more time before we jump into the show. Tigers in, baby. Let's go. All right, let's start with some volleyball, as volleyball has been spiking in the classroom. The Tigers earned their seventh consecutive AVCA academic award. The University of Memphis volleyball team earned its seventh straight and 21st overall American Volleyball Coach Association Team Academic Award, sponsored by Intent, while being named to the honor roll. With their 3.60 GPA for the 2023 academic year, the Tigers rank in the top 20% of all Division I football programs. Head coach Sean Burdett would say, "I'm very proud of our players' academic accomplishments this past year. Receiving the ACVA Team Academic Award for the seventh consecutive season and every year I have been at the University of Memphis is an incredible accomplishment, as well as all the deserved recognition for our student athletes." Wow, that's big. Since Burdett took over the team in 2018, the Memphis has earned the Team Academic Award every season and has been named to the honor roll 4 times. The award, which was initiated in the 1992-1993 academic year, honors volleyball teams that maintain a year-long grade point average of 3.3 or better on a 4.0 or a 4.1 on a 5.0 scale. The Tigers maintain their 7-year streak while notching a program's 21st overall award. So shout out to the volleyball team. That's big time stuff right there. That's big time stuff. That is that's really what it's all about. You're a student athlete. So, you get in there, you do the jump over to track and field. Let me get the banner put up here. So track and field would sprint to some interesting honors as the all academic athletes for the 2024 5 Tigers were named to the, get ready because this is a long one, but 5 Tigers were named to the UST FCCCA all academic list. And that stands for the United States Field and Track Cross Country Association. 3 women and 2 men. We had Julia Konigshofer in Health Studies, Porna Rayorna, International Business, Arena Rosina was in Public Relations, the women's, and Jason Macarius in business admin, and Sasha Smith in health science were the men honored. In order to be considered for the all academic honors, the student athlete must carry a cumulative grade point average of 3.25 on a 4.0 scale, including the most recent grade period, and have completed at least 2 semesters or 3 quarters at the nominating institution. In a season ranked in the top 96 in the NCAA in a individual region or in the top 48 of a relay event. For the outdoor season, they must have participated in any round of the NCAA Division I Outdoor Field Track and Field Championship. So shout out to those 5 Tigers who were just named to a great list of players. All right, so let's get into it. The Memphis Women's Hoops was announced today. That the American Athletic Conference announced its home and away destinations for the 2023-2024 women's basketball season today, and the Tigers, with this, have their opposing AAC programs. Memphis will play 18 league games this season, including 6 home-and-home series against North Texas, Temple, Tulsa, UAB, and Florida Atlantic. The Tigers will host East Carolina, Wichita State, and Charlotte inside El Marone Fieldhouse while making the trip to South Florida, Rice, and Tulane. American Athletic Conference play will begin on December 29th, with the final play date falling on March 4th, 2025. The AAC Women's Basketball Championship will be held at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas, March 13th through March 17th. So Memphis' home opponents are Charlotte, East Carolina, Florida Atlantic, North Texas, Temple, Tulsa, UAB, UTSA, and Wichita State. The Lady Tigers will go on the road to take on Florida Atlantic, North Texas, Rice, South Florida, Temple, Tulane, Tulsa, UAB, and UTSA. Big time. We are really looking forward to seeing what this program can do in year 2 under Alex Simmons. And I tell you, they're out working, they're out recruiting. If you follow them on any type of social media, you know this women's program right now is pushing to be the best they can be, not only in the American, but to make noise around the country as well. Keep an eye out for this Lady Tigers basketball team. They're playing really, really, really well. So as we would learn the women's, we would obviously also learn the men's hoop team. So with the American now having 13 teams competing in men's basketball with the departure of SMU to the AAC earlier this month, the Tigers will now play 18 league games this season, including 6 home-and-home series against UAB, Florida Atlantic, South Florida, Temple, Wichita State, and Rice. Memphis will host North Texas, East Carolina, and Tulsa for 1 game each inside FedEx Forum and travel to Charlotte, Tulane, and UTSA for all single showdowns in 2025. Of course, dates and times for these games will be announced at a later date. The first date for league action is set for Tuesday, December 31st, and the final day is set for Sunday, March 9th, while the 2025 American Men's Basketball Championship will also obviously be held inside Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. That is March 12th through the 16th. When you look at this Memphis basketball team, of course, the only 2 returning players are Nicholas Jourdain and Seema Stansberry. But when you look at Penny, 22-10 last year, was ranked as high as number 10 in the nation in January. 7th year at the helm. We saw We learned some things last year about Penny Hardaway that we didn't know, and we see almost a full roster turnover for this program. So, going to be very interesting to see how this turns out. But the 2024-2025 home opponents are South Florida, Florida Atlantic, UAB, Wichita State, North Texas, Tulsa, East Carolina, Rice, and Temple. The Tigers will go on the road and take on Charlotte, Tulane, Florida Atlantic, Temple, Rice, South Florida, UAB, and Wichita State. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's time to get into Memphis Tigers football. When we talk coaches, we talk players being honored, we talk offense, we talk top 10 road trip environments that we've been to while being Memphis fans and or covering Memphis. All that and more. We'll be right back right here on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. Welcome back, guys, to the Tigers Den right here on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. Appreciate everybody watching and listening over at The social media is at the number 4 STAR and capital M. That's 4 Star M over at social media. We appreciate it. The University of Memphis, as you see the theme there on the bottom of the screen, it says football theme games are out. So Memphis football announced themes for the 2024 home football season. They announced its themes for the program's 7 home games during the 2024 season. The program announced today. So, game 1, along with themes for each home game, Tiger Tailgate and Release the Tigers, will be presented to you by Dillard Door, who will return for the 2024 campaign. So, August 31st, home opener, 6 p.m. against North Alabama, will be a 9:01 game, which will be a salute to everything Memphis, a celebration of the culture of what makes up the 9:01. Week 2, September 7th, at home against Troy for an 11 a.m. kickoff. They will be honoring the 1993 team that defeated the number 23 ranked Mississippi State Bulldogs, as well as the Ole Miss Rebels, with a roster that would include Pro Football Hall of Famer Isaac Bruce. So week 2 will be the 1993 team reunion, as all the guys from the 93 team, that would be Steve Matthews, Isaac Bruce, Marcus Doc Holliday, and more will be coming back for that game against Troy, which is week 2. September 28th against MTSU will be Kids Day. Well, festivities at Tiger Lane and inside Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium will include inflatables, giveaways, and more. So far on the Tigers themes for home game, we've got 9:01 game in week 1. We've got the 1993 reunion and the second home game. Then we take a few weeks and we got MTSU's Kid Day, October 19th, which is my sister's birthday as well as my aunt's, which is kind of funny. October 19th against North Texas will be Wrestling Day. Wrestling Day is back for the 3rd straight year, including wrestling matches on Tiger Lane prior to the game against the Mean Green. October 26th, which is homecoming, will be against Charlotte, which invites all Tigers back to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium for the annual homecoming game, as the 49ers come to town to take on the Tigers. December 8th will be not only a Military Appreciation Day, but it's also a blackout, as Memphis will take on Rice at 8 p.m. as Memphis salutes their military in prime time on national television by encouraging all fans to wear black for that game. November 16th against UAB will be Senior Day, as well as Battle for the Bones, honoring the class of seniors, including quarterback Seth Hennigan, as the Tigers aim to retain the Battle of the Bones trophy against the Blazers. So when you look at this Memphis football team, of course, 10-3 last season, you can see on the side of the screen there, 10-3 last season, 4th time that's happened in program history. They kicked the season off against North Alabama, and it's the 9:01 game. So we're just going over the football theme for the season. I'm very excited about these. So I enjoy the 9:01 game every year that I watch, every year that I see it. The 1993 team reunion is very, very, I like that. It's very cool. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't have done it. I guess last year would have been, I don't know. Anyway, I like it. I really do. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. No complaints here. Thank you to everybody watching and listening right now over at 4star.live, over at Facebook, and over at YouTube. Appreciate everybody watching and listening and tuning in. All right, up next, historical things are going to happen at the Liberty Bowl. We've talked about now, talking about the stadium renovation, right? So phase 2 of the stadium renovation will begin on Monday. It was announced today. The second phase calls for demolition work on the west side tower, which above the first 25 rows of chairback seating. The process will begin at 10 a.m. We hope to have someone out there for that process, for the beginning of it. And It will begin 10 a.m. and it could take up to 2 weeks to get this taken care of. The school, which received $120 million in state money to go towards the project, is working to raise roughly $50 million to unlock a $50 million pledge gift from FedEx founder Fred Smith and his family. Last week, we would see Jeff Crane on with on 92.9 ESPN, and he would say that Memphis had raised 23 million and would need to cross the 25 million mark before beginning work on stage 3. So evidently, we've made it past that mark because we're now beginning work on stage. I'm sorry, on phase 2. So, really, really, really looking forward to seeing what this stadium is going to look like. Of course, I've only grown up with what it is right now. I mean, pretty much everybody has. They really haven't done much to the stadium. Um, they've done some things to the press boxes, things of that nature, but besides the jumbotron, really haven't done much. So, phase 2 will include a party patio on the east side of the stadium. That area will be situated between rows 24 um, of seats behind rows 24 rows of seats, and we'll have concessions and areas to watch the game. It will be open to all fans at the stadium. There will also be multiple levels of new suites and club seating. This phase will include completely redoing the west side of the arena. There will be a founder's suite area, which is the high end suites in the stadium. As work is being done, however, capacity will be significantly reduced during the 2024 and 2025 seasons. Simmons Bank could previously seat um, 58,000. That capacity will now be around 32,000 each of the next 2 seasons. That's key. I'm very interested to see how this fan base, how the Memphis fan base, Tiger Nation, you guys, they're dropping the stadium down by 26,000 seats. It's time to fill it up. It's time to fill it up every single home game. You're at 32,000. It's time to pack that stadium and make Memphis a tough place to play for the next 2 seasons. 2024 and 2025, stadium will be around 32,000 seat capacity. You've got to pack that stadium. It's the one thing that if you do that and you're filling 32,000 seats weekly, which should happen. In all honesty, it should happen. You've heard us talk about that core group of roughly 35,000 fans. If you could somehow sell the stadium out for a whole season, sell the stadium out for a whole 2 seasons, and have fans have to stand outside or have to sit outside at their tailgates at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, that's massive. That's huge for Memphis. That's huge for the optics of the university. And it's really big when you look at realignment. When you look at the next phase of realignment, speaking of phases in phase 2, phase 3, when you speak of phases for the next realignment, this is huge for the University of Memphis, not only for the school, but for the football program. Stadium's going to be down to 32,000 seats the next 2 seasons. It's time to show that you support this program and get out there and fill those seats. 32,000, 2024, 2025. You've got to get out and fill Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Now's when you show that your support for this program is really happening and it's really what you want to be done. I do know that Memphis has already sold over 20,000 seat tickets for that first home game. 20,000 seats have already been sold. This team can be very special in 2024. Very, very special in 2024. Don't sleep on Memphis. It's time to talk about some coaches. Obviously, we know who Ryan Silverfield is, 25th head coach in the Memphis football history. He became that in December of 2019 for leading the Tigers into their first major bowl game appearance, which was the Goodyear Cotton Bowl in Dallas. The Tigers hired from within, which a lot of people questioned at the time. But when you look at Silverfield, he guided Memphis last year to a 10-3 season, including winning the Honors of Liberty Bowl 36-26 over Iowa State, as you see on the side there. The 10-win season is just the no, I'm sorry, I have that wrong on there. It's the fifth time in program history, and his 4 bowl titles is most in school history. His 31 victories is second most in program history for a head coach in his first 4 seasons. But when you look at the staff that he's assembled, this is what I'm really excited about. In just a moment, right here in Tigers Den on the Four Star Sports Media Network. We're talking all offensive, or we're talking coaches at the moment. So you got Ryan Silverfield, head coach. They bring back Tim Cramsey as the offensive coordinator. You you bring in Jordan Hankins. We talked about him last week on the show. Jeff Myers was acquired after we would see the departure of Lou Esposito. He's the run game coordinator and the offensive line coach. You see the return of Reggie Howard, former Tiger DB, and he's the assistant coach and the cornerbacks positional coach. Larry Smith's co-offensive coordinator and the wide receiver coach. Brad Salem comes in as the tight end coach and as an assistant. Um, Lee Marks comes in as the running backs coach. Spence Nowitzki comes in as the co-defensive coordinator. With this, he brings a lot of experience to Memphis football, and that's going to be key for not only Jordan Hankins, the new defensive coordinator, but it's also Ryan Silverfield. When you bring in a guy with the stature, with the history that Spence has, you automatically increase your. You automatically take care of it. You automatically do it. Right now, you're inside the Tigers Den where we're doing the 2024 Memphis football. But we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. But like I said, appreciate everybody watching and listening. Going over to coaches, when you look at these coaches, it's going to be very, very, very interesting to see how these guys do. You bring in Tim Cramsey; he's now in his third season, second season. When you look at the offense, which we're getting ready to talk about, but the offense was absolutely incredible in 2023. There's no doubt about it. When you look at the Memphis offense, it's about as good as it gets. It really, really is. It's about as good as it gets. Seth Hennigan comes back. You bring in Mario Anderson. We've talked about all the additions. You got Rock Taylor. You got Demir Bakumsi, Anthony Lamsphere. We'll get into all of that. When you look at the weapons that he has on the offensive side, you're looking at a Memphis offense that could potentially uh, set records from a team perspective. And then you look at it from a defensive side of things, and you've got Jordan Hankins, proven defensive coordinator, was defensive coordinator at the University of Tennessee Martin. Question that if you want to, but go back and look at those teams that he was coaching under, or teams that was playing under him, and you'll see stats that are very impressive. Go back and look at the tape from the Iowa State game, and you'll see a Memphis defense that flew around the field for the most, in the most effective way that I've seen in a very long time. That is the best Memphis defense performance that I've seen New Orleans Bowl days. Like, I mean, we're going back 20, we're going back a long time. We're going back 20 years. I expect to see much of the same in 2024. I expect to see much of the same from the offense. I'm very excited to see our kickers. We'll get to special teams next few weeks when we break down, or actually it'll be next week when we break down defense and special teams. But once again, thank you everybody watching and listening. We appreciate your time on a Thursday evening. So let's get a little bit offensive. So let's talk about the offense. You've got Seth Hennigan, obviously at quarterback. When you look at the offensive line, it's been rebuilt. You bring in Trent Holler from Marshall, plus you've got guys from the portal that are in there as well. Plus you've got other guys that are back from last season. Like we talked about, Memphis will have roughly 250 starts on that offense. I'm sorry, 150 starts on that offensive line when they start the season. So offensive line wise, I think we're going to see a much improved unit. I think when you look at if you when you look at Coach Jeff Myers knows how to attack the defensive fronts. He knows how to get his offensive line to that second level of the defense to continue to block in a running scenario. And then on the offensive side, I mean on the passing side of things, they understand that their goal, their as clean as they can. They've got to keep Seth Hennigan clean. If you can keep Seth Hennigan upright, keep Seth Hennigan healthy, this Memphis offense, it can be, like I said, can be very, very, very explosive. Interested to see. I saw an article the other day. I believe it was written by Jonah Dillon. May have been Jason Munz. I'm pretty sure it was Jonah Dillon, but it said that Mario Anderson is wanting to break D'Angelo's rushing record of not. D'Angelo rushed for 1,936 yards, and Mario wants to break that. Well, he would have to rush for almost 2,000 yards in the season. That would be top 30 all time. That's the kind of goals that these players are setting. That's the kind of excitement that these guys have. That's the kind of expectation that this program has. Like I said earlier, fifth time to win 10 games in program history. Silverfield's the only coach ever to win technically his first bowl game coached. Only coach in Memphis history to do that. So when you look at this Memphis team, when you look at this Memphis offense, there's weapons everywhere. You've got Mario Anderson in the backfield. Don't forget you got Sutton Smith in the backfield. Don't forget you got the little scat back from Louisiana Monroe in the backfield. You got Anthony Lamphere at tight end. You've got Colby Drake in the slot. Demir Blakumsey on one side, Rock Taylor on the other. I mean, that right there alone is weapons. But then you throw in the young man that we got in from the transfer portal from Auburn, wide receiver, the young man we got in from the University of Houston, wide receiver. And this team becomes even more of a offensive threat. This team is going to be explosive offensively. That's not a hot take. I've got the stats to back it up. I've got the trends of this offense since Tim Cramsey has been here to back it up. You just go back and watch last season. You saw a offense that when Blake Watson, now Memphis Showboat, Blake Watson, as he was drafted over the weekend to the Showboats in the college draft, UFL. But once Blake Watson got going, the offense went to him. They went with what worked, but they never went away from the run. It was established from the very beginning. You knew you had to respect the run of this Memphis team, and if you didn't, up on you. It can very well happen again. this Memphis offense is going to be explosive in 2024. Like I just said, it's not a hot take. I've got stats to back it up. Defensively, we talked about players, stacked rosters, things of that nature. We would see Coffee and Darius Coffee named to the All-State AFCA Good Works team, which is very cool. Coffee's a redshirt senior defensive back from Winona, Mississippi, and he appeared in a dozen games for the Tigers in 2023, making 5 starts. As I stated, he's a Winona, Mississippi native. Total 25 tackles, 2 for loss, a sack, 3 pass breakups, and a pair of quarterback hurries, and a fumble recovery, including a season-high 5 stops in the win over Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl. Now, we talked about Coffee and his performance in the Liberty Bowl right after that game, but when you look at Coffee, the final roster of 23 award recipients will be announced later in September, but 11 players from the NCAA FBS, 11 players from the FCS, that's the Football Championship Subdivision, and then there's 11 players from Division II, Division III, and NAIA, and then there's 1 honorary coach named. So very, very, very cool for Andarius Coffee, and congratulations to that young man for a Good Works team. And what it does is it was established in 1992, and it recognizes college football athletes for their unwavering commitment to community service and their, quote, good works off the field. This year's 178 nominees champion causes including mental health awareness, youth mentorship, hunger relief, domestic abuse prevention, and many more. In addition to being actively involved in a charitable organization or service group, each player also must maintain strong academic standing to be considered for the spot on the All-State AFCA Good Works team. So congratulations to Andarius Coffee, defensive back for the University of Memphis, on that incredible honor, because what he's doing is he is giving back to his community. Like I said, shout out Andarius Coffee for an incredible honor and just being out and having as it states, a unwavering commitment to community service and the good works that he puts in off the field. So congratulations to him. Very, very interesting. And it's very, very cool to see college football players giving back to causes like mental health, youth mentorship, hunger relief, domestic abuse prevention, and much more. It's just that's really, really incredible to see college football players of all divisions, because this is not just FBS, it's FCS, Division II, Division III, and NAIA. So congratulations to Darius Coffee for an incredible honor. All right, folks, let's go ahead. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about our top 10 road environment experiences that we've been to here at the Tigers Den. Should be a pretty interesting list. I'm very interested to hear yours. If you want to shoot us a message here at 4-Star Sports Media, head to our Facebook page, head to our YouTube page, head to our Twitter page. Shoot us a message on there with your top 10 road environments that you've been to. We would like to include it into an article later in the season. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to go over our top 10 road environments right here on the Tigers Den on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. Welcome back, guys, to the Tigers Den right here on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. We appreciate everybody watching and listening. Once again, if you enjoy the show, give us a like, give us a follow, give us a share, and hit that subscribe button over on YouTube to make sure that when we go live, you can go live with us right here on the Tigers Den. And I'll get the show schedule up at the end of the show. Typically, on a typical normal week, once everything's in season and rolling, the hour, all things Arkansas with Ashton, Coach Willie, Ashton, and Blake will be on Thursday nights. So the only reason we're on Thursday nights, Tiger Den, is because we had scheduling conflict last night. So here at Tigers Den, we have a compiled list of top 10 topics, different topics of top 10 categories, that we will be giving our list out to you, the fan. As I stated before the break, if you want to give us your top 10 and road environments as a Tiger fan, feel free to do so. On this list, I will be going from 10 to 1. Okay, so we'll go from 10 to 1. And we're going to start with Tennessee at number 10. It's a humongous stadium, one of the loudest venues I've ever been to. Over 100,000 fans. You feel that. The environment of the game is good. The fan base at times, and every fan base has it, is on this list, has fans that are jerks. Every fan base has fans that are jerks. We already know this, right? But Tennessee is number 10 on the list. Enjoyed the atmosphere, enjoyed the experience of Neyland Stadium. Number 9 is going to be Vaught-Hemingway Stadium down in Oxford, Mississippi. John and I recently talked about it, and I made the comment that I hated the stadium. I just don't like their fan base. Their fan base is just, there's more of those jerk fans seemingly with the Ole Miss than there has really a lot of other schools. I don't know. But Vaught-Hemingway, when that place is rolling, can be very loud. The whole first down Ole Miss thing, you start doing it yourself subconsciously. I mean, you really do. It just gets in your head. But yeah, no, Ole Miss is a good environment. When that place is rocking and rolling, man, Vaught-Hemingway is a lot of fun. Number 8, talk about UAB. I've only been to Legion. It was a lot of fun going down there and watching them play down there. Thoroughly enjoyed that as a young child. Number 7, very interesting thing that I'm kind of. It's not a popular stadium amongst a lot of people in the state of Arkansas, but War Memorial Stadium as a child was a lot of fun to go over and watch Memphis play Arkansas. I believe it was in 1993. But the stadium is really just old. It's got a lot of history to it. That stadium, I remember it being very loud as a young child, being in that stadium. And then I can remember it being a great game, Memphis and Arkansas. I believe it was back in 93. But when you look at War Memorial Stadium, yes, outdated, but the history of that stadium is there. The history of War Memorial is there. And I mean, I've got it at number 7. Let's go to number 6. It's going to surprise a lot of people because of who the team is. But Louisiana was a really cool stadium to go to. Now, that particular game in 2019, and it was brutal. It was brutal. But Louisiana Monroe is a lot of fun to watch. It's a lot of, just a cool atmosphere. Their food's great. I mean, tell me a better place than you can go to a football game and walk down to pizza, which is incredible pizza, by the way. The pizza is so good. So good. Number 5 on the list. We're going through top 10 road environments. Number 5 on the list, so we're halfway there. Number 5 is Louisville. Papa John's Stadium was a lot of fun to go to. I was at the opening game, or the opening season of Papa John's Stadium. Was the year that Memphis played them in 2004, when D'Angelo ran all over them. Came back and beat a Bobby Petrino-led Louisville Cardinal team. Number 4 is a stadium that I just visited last season, or 2 seasons ago, I guess, to cover the Memphis game, and that's Tulsa. That stadium, my wife and I actually went. A lot of fun. That stadium's very cool. It gets pretty loud. I think I know why they call them the Golden Hurricane, because the wind inside that really, really unique environment right there on the University of Tulsa. And I really enjoyed the experience of Tulsa. Now, once we got over by Memphis Tiger fans, it was a little, but yeah, Tulsa was a lot of fun. Just like I said, just a couple years back. Next, we're at number 3 on the list. Up next, we're going to go to the Cincinnati Bearcats. Nippert Stadium comes in at number 3 on the list. I've always enjoyed that stadium. I've been 2 or 3 times, I guess. Thoroughly enjoyed Nippert Stadium. It's gone through a lot of expansions since the last time I've attended a game there. It'd be pretty cool to get back up there. I know Cincinnati's now in the Big 12, but be pretty cool if Memphis could get them back on the schedule as well as Louisville. Would love to see Memphis and Louisville back on the schedule. Memphis, Cincinnati back on the schedule. We've got Arkansas. I mentioned Little Rock at number 7 on the list, former Memorial Stadium. We've got Arkansas back. Got Mississippi State coming back as well, and we'll talk about them in just a minute. But Cincinnati comes in at number 3 on the list. Nippert Stadium, really, really enjoyed that football stadium. It was cold as crap up there. If I remember correctly, Memphis got the win as well up there in Cincinnati. Number 2, we'll take a little trip down to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, as we visit The Rock. Southern Miss, Hattiesburg, always a fun road trip. Always thoroughly enjoyed going down there. Their fans were always very nice, very pleasant. The stadium back then was very cool. Once again, they've made renovations to the stadium since last time I've been down there. But Southern Miss comes in at number 2 on the list. Incredible times at Southern Miss. Been there 3 times, I guess. Maybe even more. Well, I know we started going in the late 90s. I can remember going in the late 90s to watch Memphis play them down there when they were in CUSA. And number 1 on the list as top 10 road environments from the Tigers Den, we travel to Starkville, Mississippi, as the Mississippi State Bulldogs and Scott Field come on. I'm sorry. No, it's not Scott Field. Yeah, it is Scott Field down in Starkville. Mississippi State, the environment is great. A lot of people complain about the cowbells. They really don't bother me. I've also been down there to watch them play other teams. Went down there, 6 years ago, I guess, to watch them play Arkansas. And that environment was wild too. Even in a loss to Arkansas, Mississippi State was still their fan base was very nice. Their fan base was very, very, very just appeasing all the way around. But that stadium's cool. It's got some pretty cool little things they do now. And like I said, once again, that when this stadium is just like a few others on this list, when that stadium is rocking, that place is a lot of fun to be. A lot of fun to be. No doubt. Tigers Den, right here on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. It's time, folks, to go back and revisit the Tigers trivia question. So, the Tiger trivia question is very simple. It is, when Memphis won the 2019 American Athletic Conference Championship, how long had it been since they had done that? I'll give you some time to think on it, and I'll hit a little jingle for you. Here we go, folks. Time for Tigers trivia, and as we give the answer to close the Tigers Den. All right, folks, we've made you wait long enough. Let's go ahead and give you the answer. So the answer tonight is when the question tonight is when Memphis football won the 2019 American Athletic Conference Championship game in 2019. How long was the drought? How long had they had to wait? Tiger Nation had to wait since the last outright conference title, and the answer is 50 years. Tigers had not won one in 50 years when they last won it prior to 2019. So, man, wild stuff. Wild stuff. Jam-packed show, guys. Like I said at the very beginning, this show was originally going to be an all Memphis football show. I was going to talk all Tiger football. But then today, I mean, news starts rolling in yesterday. And then all of a sudden, I get more information coming in through Memphis. And it turned into a volleyball, talking about how they're just seventh straight award in the classroom, being incredible student athletes over there at the volleyball program. And then we got a little hoops update as the American Athletic Conference schedules opponents, not dates and times, but the opponents would come out for Memphis men's and women's hoops. As we went over that, we also would go over the football game themes. Very exciting, as they will honor the 1993 team, which obviously included Isaac Bruce in week 2 against Troy from the 11 a.m. kickoff. 9:01 game is week 1. We would talk about some stadium upgrades. Things are going to change. Like I said earlier, one of those things is the stadium is now going to go from 58,000 down to 32,000. If you're Memphis football, you've got to fill that stadium. You're the fan base. You've got to get out there and fill the stadium. And you can ask, you can say, Wes, well, you're not going to the games. Trust me, there's plenty of me at the game. Plenty. And yes, I do travel and go to games. So it's not like I'm never there. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. When you look at this Memphis football team, as we talked about, guys, offensively, this team is going to be explosive. That is not a hot take. That is factual. I've got stats to back it up. I talked about them earlier. You can go through head back to 4star.live. Check out our articles on the information up here, and let's call it a night. Right here from the Tigers Den on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. Once again, I appreciate all the support, man. All you guys that are out here supporting us, liking the videos, we appreciate